Hello, everyone, and a hearty welcome to this informative session from QHub community, where we delve into the world of effective customer demos. It's a pleasure to introduce our expert speaker for today's event, lead software testing engineer Ekaterina Shrimko. And please keep in mind that after the main part is over, we will move to the Q&A part. So please feel free to send all of your questions in the comment section, and we will go through them after the presentation. So, Katya, good morning, and I'm giving the floor to our dear speaker.
Thank you, Camila. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well and you can see me and hear me. So today we're going to discuss how to conduct effective demo to the customers. So I think we can start. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Katerina Shimko. I'm lead software testing engineer. So I've been working as a QA already about 6 years. During this time, I've changed about four, I think, even more projects in different domains. And as well, I've participated as a QA mentor in different QA programs, educational programs. So today our agenda is to discuss what are key points for successful demo to the customer. And first of all, I have a question to you. So, like from your point of view, what is needed for a successful demo? So please write your comments in the chat. It's really interesting to know what you think about that, first of all. To be technically prepared for this demo. Well-prepared presentation or working product. Yeah, that's important. Note the goal, script. Note the stakeholders. Small talk before. Yeah. Prepare to present from user's perspective. Yeah. Yeah, lots of great thoughts in the chat. To achieve the sprint goals. Yep. Some screenshots, video recordings in case any issues. Yeah, yeah. To have a clear agenda. That's true as well. Yeah, I see a lot of great comments. Mention if any open issues clearly. Yeah, to be transparent during the presentation. Yeah, I see a lot of great thoughts in the chat. Thank you for sharing your opinion. I really appreciate it. Yeah, questions. To be ready for questions. Questions are really important, and it's great when audience ask them because, like, you can feel like that you're not talking, I don't know, just to yourself. That people are listening and they have some questions, thoughts. So it's kind of engagement, interaction. It's always a plus that the audience is interested. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your comments. Today I will try to share my knowledge and my experience regarding the successful demo. So let's switch to the presentation. So the first point, I saw this in the comments, and I believe it's crucial, is to understand your audience. So from my experience, what I saw and in which situations I was and other teammates was, so for example, you have a demo to the customer, to the stakeholders, and your team is working mostly on the technical stuff. So you develop API, you create schemas in database, and so on. So like you do not interact mostly with UI, for example, yeah. And there was a situation when there was a huge demo for the customer, and the team was like mostly working on APIs, for example, they were showing only code. So or the I don't know postman requests and responses, and they did that several times, and then customer came with the feedback like we do not understand, like they just like look, they see code and they don't understand what's happening and what is the business value. They just don't have a clue what those guys are working on because they don't have technical knowledge, and it's okay, they do not have to. um, and in this case, after the feedback, the team a little bit changed their mind regarding the demo, and they started to include the business value in their work. So, for example, when they show some API that was built, like the request and the response, they started to comment. So, like with using these, after that, user will be able, I know, to get some information about the addresses, I know, about the user info, about the product or something like that, or they add, I don't know, delete, bulk upload, delete. No, sorry, bulk delete, and they kind of after that show screenshots and comments. So like with this stuff that we've completed, you can after that user will be able to delete multiple objects at once, and they show screenshots. So they kind of started to explain how the backend part will the user will be using the backend part, like not itself with UI, but just the understanding what features they developed. And it was a success. It was a great the customer was really excited and they were happy that now they understand what they see and its value of it. But I had another situation, for example, when there was a customer demo and there were a lot of solution architects there, so there were a lot of a technical audience. And for example, my team, we've developed some batch processing. So when a lot of data was uploaded and then transformed in the other place. So and when I was demonstrated, I've shown only like happy flow. Essentially, so only like the main part, and they asked me to show more because they understood what they see. They really wanted to see everything regarding that features that is working. So yeah, and like I needed to play around with it during the demo because they wanted it. So yeah, and sometimes it's kind of mixed. So sometimes you can see like technical people during the demo, not technical, so you need kind of to mix up, so to show the technical stuff as well, so this part of the audience will understand, like they will see what they're expecting to see, what they want to see, the result. And the other stuff on like the other part of the audience, they will understand like the value for the user first of all, like for the business part. Yeah, so please do not ignore this. This is really important that when you're showing something, your audience understands you. So, like in the end, everybody is satisfies you with the result of your work, and they also like of the understanding result of your work. Yeah. So let's move to the next slide then. The next point is to set clear targets. So set clear objectives for your demo. So you really need to understand what are you going to present. So a great option is to get together with your team. For example, you have a sprint results demo to the customer to show them what you have achieved during the sprint. And it's crucial to get together with the team to discuss what you would like to present, on what I know stories features you would like to focus in case something goes wrong, like for something was not completed or it has some issues, like do we not do don't we need like, or we're not going to show this, or we need to comment that yeah, we've achieved, like we've did a lot of a big part of this, for example, feature, it's not ready yet, we know that, but we still want to show you like the progress we've made. And it's okay, it's like it's a discussable point what you would like to show. So you like need to understand what you're going to include in this part. um, and the next step is to practice storytelling. So like when you have understanding what are you going to present, it is great habit to write a high level plan what you're going to tell, so kind of a logical scenario. So firstly I want to show this, and then I want to go to this part. So like if you're telling a story like from the user perspective, how the user, for example, interact, if it's an UI part, or the logical piece of the maybe technical part, API or database, so we in which table everything is stored, for example, and so on. And the second part of the storytelling slide is if you feel it's better to practice it. So, and I do this a lot. So if I know that I'm going to present something, I'm going to tell like not a story, but like demonstrate anything, it's always easier for me to get this high level plan, which I've written somehow, and to try to tell it. I don't know, to colleague, to my friend, or even just to myself, because like when you start to tell, you can understand, oh, I don't like how this sound, maybe I need to rephrase this. And after such runs you then feel much more comfortable. Of course there may be some situation when you do not have time for that, and that's okay, or for example you feel confident. So in this case, okay, you can skip it, but if you, for example, do not feel confident, you can always write a plan. It depends on you how much you want it to be in detail, and just try and to read it, to tell it, and it would be much easier for you than in the future. So the next point is time control. It is, I think, it is quite common situation when maybe not only you are going to present, for example, the sprint results or something like that, and they may be other teams. Yeah, or like if only it's your team, but there was, I don't know, a meeting scheduled, for example, for 30 minutes. Yeah. So you need to know your time range. So in case, for example, there are several teams and you know that you have only 10 minutes like for your presentation, um, be sure that like your presentation will be no longer than this time. I've even was in situation when we had only 10 minutes and there was so many teams presenting at this time. So the moderator of the meeting even asked, if you can do it faster, please do it, because like we're really limited on time, because like many people are going to present today. So yeah, always keep that in mind. If you're kind of do not feel confident, if you're going to be in this limit, you can even, I don't know, use a timer and try to high level describe everything you would like to say, and to see, okay, I'm in safe place, I can do this in 10 or 15 minutes. Or if you feel that you need more time, you always need to communicate that. So hey, sorry, I think we have too much stuff to present today, so we need more time. So like to make sure everybody is in aligned who is involved with this. And the second part, it's also more related, when you are not only the presenter, you need to know when you need to step in case and there other teams are going to show something as well. So yeah, because in case you don't know this information, you will kind of feel in rush. You may not have everything open, like for the demo, I mean the presentation or the environment where you're going to show, or maybe some other screenshots, videos, etc. Because sometimes even, I don't know, you prepare the environment and you're waiting, like you do not know when you're going to step in, and like I don't know, your user was logged out. You need to start the presentation, but you need to log in, and it's kind of rush and it's always kind of uncomfortable. So yeah, if it's possible, always get the information what will be your time to start the presentation. Okay, so the next slide is about environment stuff and tools. I would say some things that I am going to highlight here. They maybe sound quite obvious, yeah, but I still think it's crucial for you and for your audience. That's why I would like to mention them anyway. So the first point is to find a quiet place, because I'm sure you, like, every time, like every presentation, it's kind of a little bit of stress, and it's getting even more stressful when you have, I don't know, people around you, like talking or any other things that can distract you. So yeah, in case you're in the office, for example, just book a separate room when nobody will touch you and you can feel safe and quiet and prepared. In case you're going to present from home place, yeah, just ask your family, so yeah, I'm going to present, please do not come into this room, I need like quiet space to feel comfortable. Yeah, so but in case someone will see your cat or dog, I don't think it's an issue. But you need to feel comfortable where you're going to present. The second is a good internet connection and devices. So yeah, it's also kind of obvious, but make sure that you have good internet connection. Make sure that your headsets are working, your laptop is charged, or in case it's plugged in and you do not need to worry about the low battery, something like that. Just, just make sure that all devices that you're going to use, they're all working and you have like no issues with it. The third part is check presenting platform in advance. I mention it here because sometimes, like for example, it's your first demo, I don't know, on a new project, and the platform in which you're going to present, you never used it before, and it's a good practice to ask, for example, your colleague and say, "Hey, I'm going to be a presenter today. Could you please, like, can we make a call in this platform? I just want to check how I can share the screen. If everybody sees me, can I see anybody else as well? Can I hear people and they can hear me? Because sometimes you need to go to the settings and make some change. So it's much better to make this in advance because you will feel much safer. On some presenting platforms, you can share only window or you can share the application on or something else. So they kind of all common and the same at the same time, but like when it's something new, you can be in a rush. And I saw such issues like when the person was using the new platform for the first time and she could not share her screen, something went wrong, and or like somebody had issues with the headset, yeah. But like in another application it works fine. So yeah, just take some time and go to this platform, explore it, make a call. It doesn't take much time, but you will feel much more confident. um, the next point, if it's possible, have a backup. So in case it's demo to the customer of the teamwork, just make sure that somebody from the teammates, they, for example, have presentation if you have presentation there, or they kind of understand of the context you're going to demonstrate, because something may go wrong. The power may be switched off, so you will lose your internet connection. maybe some issues with devices. It's also happens, like it's live, yeah. And it's really great to have someone who can support you, who can say like, okay, can we show our part later, so we have some time to fix any issues that came in. So yeah, so you can just ask I don't know, your colleague or someone like, hey, could you please be there for me and let me know in case something went wrong, or support. uh, okay, so this slide, it's kind of related to the previous part I was telling about. But yeah, mute notifications. I'm sure that you may saw, or I know I did, for example, that there's a demo to the customer. The person is presenting his screen. Demo is recorded. Like everybody's watching, and then like the person who is presenter having some messages, I don't know, from like funny jokes from colleagues, some asks, I don't know, from mom, from family, and etc., which can maybe personal or something like that. And it's kind of always distracting, in you feel always like, why didn't I not disable them, and so on. So yeah, I think it will be much more comfortable for you, and also for your audience, like if there are like no distracting notifications during your presentation. Yeah, so keep that in mind as well. And this slide is about engagement and interaction. So during your presentation, if it's kind of divided by logical blocks, after each logical piece, ask if there are any questions. Because, for example, you would like to show something, I don't know, in application, like the and or no, about presentation. Yeah, so you have taught like all the presentation parts, all the slides, and after that you would like to present something like, I don't know, any user scenarios in application. And like before you go to that, it's a great time to ask if there are any questions regarding the presentation. Because in case you're not planning to go back to it, and you have time, it's better to ask at that time, so like people can ask what they're interested about. And it's like after each logical part. So if you feel that something was ended, you're not going to switch to this topic back. Just ask question and answer them in case you know the answers. For example, there may be some situations when audience ask a question and you do not know the answer. And it's fine. Sometimes there may be such situations because the question, I don't know, may be too technical for you. So you know not know the details. Or vice versa, like there may be some questions regarding the business plan. So what are you going to do in the future? And you are not aware of that. Um, Ask your team members if you know that your team is also in this meeting. They're watching you demoing, and you know that the person who may know the answer. It's okay. Just to ask, like, I know, hey John, could you please step in and help to answer these questions? I believe you may be aware, or something like that. So it's okay to ask help. But in case if nobody knows the answer, it's also okay to tell that you'll get back with this answer later. Um, like there may be such situation when customer asks something about, I know, your features, and like they work this way, but they maybe, like, I don't know, don't want to say don't like, but they're kind of confused. And it's okay to say that you'll look together with the team and see what can be done, what can be changed, and like you will get back with the answer later. That's totally fine. It's no issues with that. um, this point is about the MFU, meeting follow-up letter. So it depends, like I would say it depends who should do that. I know the moderator of the meeting if it's a big audience, or you can do it by yourself. It's like if nobody does it, for example. Yeah. So after the demo was finished, it is always a good practice to send a letter where you can attach the recording. You can thank the audience for the questions, and in case there were some answers or sorry questions during the presentation, you can also highlight them in this letter, so like everybody on the same page what was discussed, maybe what is going to be planned. And there were like maybe not all the people who would like to join the demo, maybe they were on vacation or there was a public holiday, so they can watch the record after and reply on this letter in case they have any questions. So yeah, it is also a good practice to send some letter after the demo. And yeah, um, I would like to summarize everything that we've discussed today. So understand your audience. Yep, it's really important that the people who are listening to you understand you and you're kind of on the same page. Set clear objectives. So yeah, you need to prepare a good plan. What are you going to tell? What are you going to show? And etc. Practice storytelling in case you feel you need it. You can write down, you can spell it, just practice it several times so you feel confident when you're demonstrating. um, Always manage your time, so especially where you're not alone, not only presenter that nobody is offended and every had their time to show the completed work, for example. um, Set up environment tools. Make sure that you're in a quiet place where it's comfortable for you to present. Let your laptop is charged, your headset is working, everybody can see and hear you. You muted your notifications, and you're ready to rock and show everything that you would like. And yep, interact with your audience. Ask them if they have any questions. Be ready to answer them. Do not hesitate to ask for help if you do not know the answer. And if it's applicable, set a meeting follow-up letter so discussion can be proceeded there. Yep. And for real, that's all the main parts I would like today to share with you. Hope you find it useful, and we can switch to the Q&A part. Thank you.
Okay, Kata, thank you for sharing your tips and your knowledge and providing all of your experience for conducting effective customer demos. And the floor is now open for your questions, dear listeners. So please feel free to share any questions you may have into our comment section. And currently we have only one question. Let me display it. Yeah. Katya, how do you manage your time effectively during the demo preparation and especially considering the schedule and ensuring you stay within the allocated time frame?
Um, Thank you for your question. So usually I kind of I can divide this to the separate parts. So first of all, I confirm how much time I would have. Um, then I prepare the plan, what I'm going to present. Usually I even can like set a timer so like and try to do a dry run so I can understand like if this time frame is okay for me. And for example, in case there are, I know, a lot of questions during the demo session, like if I feel that like I do not have time enough, um, I can even ask if like I can proceed with the all the stuff I would like to show, or I can even cut something off. I would say in case like there are a lot of questions.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. I think we've covered the topic. And yeah, there's just a few questions and a lot of kudos from your listeners and appreciations for a great presentation. And we have another one. So, dear listeners, please don't hesitate to write down, to send your questions, and we will cover them within this Q&A session. Okay, our next question is how do you involve your team into dry runs, and what benefits do you see in practicing the demo with team?
Um, Thank you for the question. Um, I don't have like an issue. I would say involving team in my dry runs because like even if you're a presenter, it was like the scope that was completed. It was completed by the team efforts. So each team member is usually um, kind of feels his responsibility for the part that was done, for example, like for the developer for the code that developed, QAs for the quality of this code. So business analyst for the requirements that he created and or she created and so on. So um, everybody kind of feel responsibility and everybody would like to show the completed work in the best way it could be. So yeah, and like even if team doesn't feel like that, you can always highlight that. So guys, we did a lot of job and it's great. So let's discuss what how we're going to show this, what we're going to show, and I'm sure like everybody would like to participate in that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have several new questions. So the next one is that how do you handle the stress during the demo to customers?
That's a great question. Thank you. Um, so I do a lot of preparation usually. So yeah, I feel as I said, I feel much more comfortable if I have a clear plan. I'm sure everything is working okay. I have like kind of I've already like, for example, practiced the presentation, but it's always a stress. So yeah, it doesn't help like 100%. Usually, if I feel really, really stressed, drinking water is really helpful for me before I start speaking, for example, and also like trying to breathe like deeply before I start to speak. Yeah, and it helps. Sometimes, if you like nothing helps you, a small talk, for example, before the demo with your colleague or something like that, it can help as well. So if it's like you feel it, you just need to talk to somebody and you will feel better.
Yes, thank you. And I think this question is the main one, especially for newcomers in the world of demos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have one new question. So, excellent tips. Have you ever, or maybe someone you know, got any bug right on the demo session and how it went?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, yes. um yeah, there was a situation when, for example, there was a bug during the presentation. um it depends. If it's a small issue when only you noticed or your team, like it maybe not look like a bug. Yeah, you can just kind of do not highlight it or just switch to I don't know to another screen or another feature. But if it's a bug, like everybody sees that, yeah, and everybody understands that the bug, I think it would be the right to say, "Oh, yeah, there's an issue here. We need to look at it, and we'll look with the team at it later." Sorry, and just switch to another part. So, like, do not ignore that. Say that yeah, you saw it, and it's not the only audience sees it, and just switch to another part. Yep, I did like
Yeah,
that.
thank you. I think that's a great advice. And the last question for now from our listener. Does live demo worth the risk? Maybe it's better to prepare a recording of the demo.
Um, it's just the demo. It's not only. I assume, like I think, my personal opinion is just demo is not only to show the completed work and the working features. It's about getting feedback from the customer, like they have some request, like we would like to see this and functionality. Not all of the customers kind of involved, I know, in designs preparation, in all requirements and so on. Or like they may be working on their part, but they would happy to see the work of other teams, for example. And it's not only like showing the features that you've developed like a team, but it's also getting a feedback from the customer, well, like what they like, what they do not like. And it's much easier to interact, to kind of talk about it during the demo. So you've showed your part that you did, and they can ask questions. And yeah, of course, you can prepare a record but and like discuss in the chat, but it's much more efficient to do it like online. Yeah, it's always a stress. I know that it's you do not feel comfortable doing that. But in case of kind of communication, it's always a plus because you can get the feedback right away, not like wait for some time. And feedback like from the, for example, I know product owners or customers, like for the other streams, like everybody see how like what work was done. And that's kind of the main part, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch to our next question. I think it's kind of related to the risks of live demo.
Mm-hmm.
Let me display it. How do you handle unexpected technical issues during a live presentation?
Um, yeah. Well, how do I handle it? Sometimes, like if it can be fixed by me, I don't know if I don't know my screen is not sharing, or I don't know I have some issues with the headset or something like that. You can try to take time and fix by your own. Like, yeah, the audience will wait for a few minutes, but I like I don't know 2 minutes you can wait, for example. If you feel that like nothing's working or you cannot proceed by any reasons, yeah, you can I don't know ask to skip for now, like your part, and you'll come back later. And I saw such situations when, for example, something was not working for the person, and he like his teammate, for example, asked like, can we skip for now, we'll come back later when we have everything fixed, because it's life, something may go wrong. um yeah, like this. In worst cases, somebody from the teammate can, like if you, in case you have a backup, um, you can ask your teammate to support you. I know he would share the screen and you will talk through the presentation or the demo part, or you can, I know the person can share the screen and you can take control if it's possible by the platform. So yeah, kind of fighting the situation. Yep.
Okay, thank you. And one more question related to, I think, a tricky case during the demo when your target audience is interested mostly in business value. So, can you provide an example of a situation where the technical aspects of your work, for instance, APIs, database, needed to be presented to a non-technical audience? And how did you focus on delivering the business value?
Mm, well, yeah, I had such situation once. So we were developing the API, but and UI was not ready, but the mocks, not mock designs, the UI designs, they were already prepared. They were not finalized, but I asked them like to share with me, the designers team. And like I was showing an API. So for example, we are doing this request and we receive this information. And after that, I switched to the screenshot, for example, of the design and like just highlight. So with this API, we will be able to, I don't know, populate following fields, or the user can do this, I don't know, interaction with the application. So I tried to explain it as much simple as possible, that something is happening in backend, but on UI you will see this change, for example. So something like that.
Okay, I see. Thank you again, Katya, for sharing your experience. I think we finished with the Q&A part. So we truly appreciate your time and sharing your knowledge and providing useful tips for conducting effective demos. And thank you for all of your insights. So, dear listeners, please don't hesitate. Appreciate our dear speaker with the pages on Heroes or via community platform, and follow our social media profiles to stay updated on upcoming events. So, we are finishing now. Have a great day, and thank you again for your attention.
Thank you very much.